Oh, hello. Welcome back to Gourmet. Today, we're continuing in our cookbook called Start Here by Sola Awali, and we'll be making a cannellini beanie melt. Why, you might ask? I, I don't know. It sounded good, and I don't have that much time, so this one was kind of going to be a quick one. Um, yeah, let's get started. So you can kind of see the setup we have going here. This one is pretty easy. There's not really true cooking involved. We're just gonna broil it in the oven, which is great. But we do have to get some things ready. And so the recipe calls for 3 cups of cooked cannellini beans or two 15.5-ounce cans. That's what I bought. I don't really have cannellini beans at home. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. It doesn't say to drain them, but there's a lot of water in these, so I think I should. Okay, so we've drained our beans, even though the recipe doesn't say to, but something in my brain is telling me to. And then, because I think you just normally, maybe, anyways. So now we're going to put one can in here, and we're going to mash. Basically, what we're making is like a tuna melt, but with beans, so like a vegetarian tuna melt. And here's the other fun fact: I don't eat mashed potatoes that often, so I don't have a potato masher. But you can use a fork. So, in with the fork we go. And I will not make you watch this all the way because, God, that's horrendous. And so we'll see you later. Woo! Okay, sometime later, we have mashed beans. I guess it doesn't look really appetizing, but I guess if it's supposed to be like a tuna melt, that's kind of what tuna looks like. Okay, so now we have to chop some things. We are going to chop some scallions. Now, these I didn't have to buy. I actually was growing them in the garden. That's why they're gigantic. And it says we need 3 scallions thinly sliced. I don't know what that means. I mean, look, I know what that means. 3 scallions. I don't know how that compares to this giant one that I have. So I'm thinly slicing 1.5 giant ones and hoping that the ratio comes out to 3 regular ones. Who knows? But that looks good. In the bowl it goes. I probably should chop that finer, but I can't be bothered. Okay, and now we're going to add some celery. And this calls for 2 medium celery stalks, finely chopped. Celery, again, a thing that I don't normally eat, but I do appreciate it in a salad like this. So, and I did wash these and put them back in the bag, so maybe that wasn't the right move because they still have a little dirt on them, but a little dirt never hurt anybody. Let's use this one. Great. Look at us making decisions. I am going to get kind of like the leaves off. The recipe does call for some celery leaves, so I'm going to set those aside. And we'll chop them up in a minute. But for now, I'm going to get our 2 medium celery stalks. These seem like pretty big, but that's kind of all the grocery store had. So maybe we just do celery until we feel like it has been 2 medium stalks. I don't know. Do you guys run into that problem? It's like a recipe calls for something medium, and you're going to the grocery store, and I'll say this: medium doesn't exist sometimes. Medium is, it's like, do you want extra large or extra small? And you're like, well, I would like an in between size, but so is life. Okay, so we've got our celery. Now we're going to pick off some celery leaves, because the recipe does say call for some celery leaves chopped. So let's go ahead and add those. Now this is an ingredient I can confidently say I've probably never used. I can't say that I've used chopped celery leaves. I've probably eaten it and not known it, but let's see. We'll just, I don't know, run our knife through these a couple times and go from there. And like I said, the whole point of the channel is just to be like a regular person trying these recipes, not a professional. So we try our best here, and sometimes our best is mediocre, and that's okay. So there's our roughly chopped celery leaves. Go us. It says half a cup. That's about as much as we're gonna get. Okay, now it says 1 large dill pickle, finely chopped. So I don't like dill pickles, but I don't mind a sweet relish, and I already had this in my fridge, so that's what I'm gonna use. Do I know how big a pickle is? No, but that looks about right. That's kind of a 1 pickle-ish, and of course, once the pickle juice, I figure that's good enough. And now I want 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. So, once again, another thing, this recipe was really nice because most of the ingredients I already had, so I didn't really have to buy much. Like, yeah, I went and bought a nice loaf of bread. Then I had to buy some Munster cheese and celery, but like, I kind of owned most of this, and I think most people would too. So, I think it's kind of cheap, and I think it'll go far. So hopefully it tastes good. Okay, our pickle juice. We need a tablespoon of olive oil. So we'll just, we like to eyeball things here, which is sometimes to our detriment, but we try our best. And then we need some Tabasco. And yes, I'm reading the recipe as I go, because I have pre-read this multiple times, and I have forgotten it each time. So, it is what it is. Let us add our Tabasco. Oh, God, I was wondering where we couldn't open it. And so it says 8 to 10 dashes, so that's close enough to 8 to 10. We'll get that out there in the recycle pile. Okay. And now we gotta mix until all this is well combined. I gotta say, it smells good so far. I don't really have a complaint. I think it's gonna be chunky enough to where, like, yeah, it's beans, but I don't think it'll be bad. I think it'll be good. You can see that maybe I have too much celery in here. Can I say that this is what the mixture is supposed to look like? No. Am I dry? Yes. So let's go ahead and taste it. Honestly, it's pretty good. It doesn't taste like tuna salad, but it tastes like what it is. And I think that's great, honestly. I mean, I don't have complaints. Maybe a little bit more pickle. But let's add salt and pepper. And maybe a little more pickle, because it does say you can add some more pickle juice. And I just think that's what it needs. So we're going to salt and pepper. And then we're going to add a little bit more pickle. And I think this is what would make it come together, Because it was unseasoned to begin with. We didn't have the salt and the pepper in there. And I know it's a sweet relish, but that's kind of what I want to taste. Let's get that a mix. You don't want to, really disrespect these recipes, but by not measuring, I think we're just kind of getting, a real person's taste. That's better. I think that's where it should be. Okay. So now we're going to fold in the rest of the beans. And set that can to the side. Let's get these guys going. I gotta say, the mixture itself, does look quite unappealing, but we know it tastes good. Try it again. I think that's great. No problem with that. So I'm going to set that to the side, clean up a little bit, and when we come back, we'll be ready for the bread. And we're back. So I kind of have started the toast. It's looking really nice on one side. The side's not as toasty, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to spread this on top and put it in the oven. Put some Munster cheese on it. The recipe calls for American or Munster. I like Munster, so I'm using Munster. Honestly, like, if it had really been up to me, I love provolone so much that I would have gotten like a smoked provolone. But, you know, we do try to follow the recipe a little bit, as much as I say I don't. And maybe I've overloaded it too much. Who cares? To me, that's like what you want in an open-faced sandwich, like just that amount. And we've got 1 piece of cheese, 2 pieces of cheese. We'll get these in the oven to broil for a little bit. Okay, and here we go. This is what our sandwich looks like. Seems like an open-faced sandwich. I probably could have left it in the broiler a little longer, but you can see I started to burn the edges, and I'd rather not eat a lot of burnt bread, but a little bit is going to be good in this case, I think. So let's go ahead and give this guy a try. So I would say if we're looking for kind of like a meat substitute melt, it's great. Is it the like tuna melt or patty melt or whatever melt of my dreams? No. I think I'd probably give it a solid 5. I don't think it's anything against the recipe. I just think maybe there's just too many beans in it for me. I think if I had left it without the additional beans, I would have liked it more. And it's really all I got to say about the taste wise. However, super easy to find all the ingredients. I had no trouble there. I got a nice loaf of bread out of it. I've got some left over. I'll eat it. I might make it into a dip. And the recipe was super easy to follow. So, you know, when you score it in light of everything else minus the taste, I really got to give it like a 7. Yes, I don't think it tasted well, but everything else is kind of a 10. A 10 to find the ingredients. Even if you have to find everything from scratch, nothing is hard to find. Like maybe the celery leaves, but those are optional. And it really took 20 minutes. Maybe it took a little longer just because I didn't toast my bread while I was making, I could have done some stuff more efficiently, but I wasn't really trying to. And I think, making the bean mixture is the whole process, and then you throw the toast in the oven. So it really was about 20, 25 minutes. And the book says 20 minutes, so there's that. I just think, overall, this is a really solid recipe. And if you like beans, I think you're really going to like it. And if you're looking for kind of like a meatless Monday type of deal, I do think this is an interesting option. Will I do it again? Probably not, just because I don't really like the beans. But yeah, I gotta say, I did enjoy making this one. I thought it was super easy. And this is actually the second recipe from the first chapter. So we're done with the first chapter called Taste. And we'll move on to the second chapter in the next video. See you guys later. Bye.